This conference will now be recorded.
We can't hear you.
I don't know if he can hear us.
I don't know. He waving his hand, but he gotta cut his sound on. His sound is off because the little speaker got the X.
Yeah, he's muted. I thought. Oh, he said give him 1 second, I think. So were we supposed to have turn in the T accounts or just have them finished? Does anybody know?
I wasn't on here during the last class session, so I don't even know what's going on for real, for real. But I can't find the book on Cengage.
Me either. I didn't even know we had it on Cengage.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So what were the questions now?
That the T account, was there a portion, a section in the class for us to submit that, or we were just supposed to have it ready for class?
Just supposed to have it ready for class.
Okay.
Are there any questions on this problem?
I have a question about the book. Where do we find the book at? Like, is it on Cengage or
It's
is
on
it?
Cengage on the syllabus. There's a person that you can contact on that. It's Lady Kenitra Patrick Robinson. If there are any issues try to contact her, okay?
Okay,
You got this?
should I just contact her tomorrow since it's late in the day?
Yeah, that's fine.
And then can
And this
you
information is on the syllabus.
okay, and if you don't mind, can you let us know like what you went over the first day?
On first day,
Yes, sir.
okay, we'll go over that. Anyone else?
Do we pick our teams today?
Yes, you pick your teams today. Slim pickings, 8 people, 25 or 26 people. I'm not quite understanding, it's a virtual class, but let's just see if we can. Let me go through the syllabus again. And this is our virtual time period, 67:15. And I can, if you need to meet with me before or after class, we can do that as we go through the semester. But we'll go through and we'll just see what hours work best for you in terms of office hours. I just have some preliminary ones there. There's some videos, so like the first day of class, there's a video that you can find here in terms of what we covered, and we'll try to have video recordings all the time, when we meet. So if you don't understand something, you can always go back to that video, which is in YouTube. The text, these are my notes, and the purpose is for you to have notes so that you'll have organized things to review. So I always say I don't get paid for these notes, but I found that if I had the notes and you could review the notes early, listen to what I was saying in the class, and then come back and review the notes, that's just a better way to learn. So that's the purpose of the notes, and the notes is all you need. And this person is available uh, if you need help. You don't have to worry about the Brewer book. Now, what we're doing is reviewing financial accounting these first 2 days. Then we'll be on the statement of cash flow. And then we'll move into managerial accounting concept. Managerial accounting assumes you know financial accounting. And we layer everything that we're doing on managerial on top of the financial. And so that's why we review it to make sure you're clear on what we need to do. And so that's where we'll be the first couple of class periods, reviewing financial uh, itself, reviewing the accounting cycle, looking at this review problem, which is in course content, and working that problem. And then there are 2 assignments that you have. They're fraudulent company presentations. Uh, and these are by team, and some of the easiest points that you can get because there's no right or wrong answer. You look up the information and report on it. And so we'll look at that in a few minutes. But each team prepares PowerPoint slides, and everybody on the team prepares a slide and report on it. So the team leader gives out the assignments. Everybody on the team completes a slide and present that slide. That's the only way you get credit. Then we have review problems. Uh, there are 5 review problems. Everybody on the team has to work a review problem. team leader assigns them. The review problems go from easy 1 to difficult 5, and the team leader and the co-leader should be doing 4 and 5. The others are assigned to the other individuals. So that's the main essence of what we're doing. Your grade calculation is 100 points. You get those points by completing homework, 20 points, quizzes, 20, study problems, and special assignments. In-class exam is typically 40. Then there are attendance quizzes, 10. So it adds up to 110 points. To get your 100 points each time, you have 110 ways to do that. There's a special project. We'll talk about that later. That's 100 points. That's a team project. A grading scale, 90% to 500, that's an A, 80% a B, 70% a C. You need to be in class all the time, on time. So let's make sure we're trying to do that. When you got an assignment, you got to turn it in by the due date. Late work's not accepted. And I don't want email assignments. I want them in Blackboard. If there's a team submission, the team leader sends it in and indicates who worked on what on those team assignments. Purpose of team assignments is to let you work as a team to enhance grades in the class, and you work together as a team. So typically, the performances are better when we work in teams. Are there any questions on the syllabus? Okay. And I still only see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people. I'm not quite understanding, but I don't know how we pass the class if we don't attend. Okay. Let's look at the problem again. There were 10 journal entries, and you had to make 10 journal entries, post them to the ledger, and prepare a trial balance. That's what we were, attempting to do. Let me see if I can do some reviewing for you.
So, as far as the presentation, are the assignments in the order of the teams? Do we get to pick what assignment, or is that in the order of the team that you gave?
They're by team. So it depends on what team you're on and what the team leader decides. I guess I'll get back to that in a couple of minutes to see if anybody else arrives. But we just have to go with the people we have. So I'm gonna cover a couple of things that I'll come back to that assignment. When you take principles of accounting, you're supposed to learn how to prepare an income statement, statement of retained earnings, and balance sheet. And that's what we're reviewing, as a statement of cash flow. But these first 3 statements are the key ones you should have learned how to prepare: the income statement, statement of retained earnings, and balance sheet. And what do those items look like? This is an income statement: revenues, less cost of goods sold, gross profit, less operating expenses, net income before taxes, taxes, and net income after taxes. You should have learned how to do that. Statement of retained earnings: beginning retained earnings, add net income, less dividends, ending retained earnings. Then your balance sheet is a reflection of the accounting equation, assets, current and long-term total assets equals the liabilities and stockholders' equity. So that's that accounting equation, and the balance sheet reflects that. The net income is what you earn during the period. The balance sheet reflects what you have to reflect those earnings. What kind of assets and liabilities do you have? And the assets uh, must be equal to the liabilities and stockholders' equity. So let's see how we get there. We have an accounting cycle that we follow to get those statements prepared. We want the statements, we got a process to do it. And you need to be thinking from the standpoint of a business person and you're running a business. So we list some things here. When you run a business, you put your money in, that's the first thing you do, you get a stock certificate. The business is separate from you. So you put your money in, you got a stock certificate that reflects the fact that your money is in the business. And then for all your financial transactions during the period, we summarize those. How much income did you make? How much of the income did you retain in the business? And what assets, liabilities, and stockholders' equity result from all of the financial transactions that you're engaged in? Here's the accounting equation. Assets equal liabilities plus stockholders' equity. The balance sheet reflects that. Assets equal liabilities plus stockholders' equity. Stockholders' equity consists of common stock plus retained earnings. So this number is common stock plus retained earnings. Retained earnings consist of the revenues minus the expenses minus the dividends. So that's that fundamental equation, and we have a similar equation in managerial accounting. In accounting, we start the business with cash and common stock. And the goal of the business is to increase this cash through earnings. That's why you put your money in, to increase it by earnings. We have a double entry accounting system that we work through. And in this system, developed in the 1400s by Pacioli, when two people engage in business transactions, they receive something and they give up something. What they receive is a debit. What they give up is a credit. A debit is on the left side. A credit is on the right side. So whenever there's a transaction, you get something, that's the debit. What you give up is the credit. Let's look at a simple example. Buying a car for $10,000. Suppose you buy a car and you pay cash of $10,000. Then you're going to have a debit for auto of $10,000. That's what you got. You got a credit to cash for $10,000. That's what you gave up. If you issued a note to buy the car, you got a car, you debited $10,000, you credit the note for $10,000. If you did a combination, you debit the auto for $10,000, you pay $2,000 down, you credit the cash for $2,000, you credit the note payable for $10,000. So these are journal entries. There's always a debit and a credit. They must equal. If you have more than two accounts, the debits must equal the credits. Are there any questions on anything that we covered there? No questions. Okay. So now we have the accounting cycle. Step 1, you analyze transactions. Step 2, you make journal entries. Step 3, you post to the ledger. Step 4, you prepare a trial balance. Step 5, you make adjusting entries, adjust the trial balance, then we prepare the statement. So we go through these, and probably today we'll focus most of our time on steps 1 and 2 with that demonstration problem. We'll focus most of our time on steps 1 and 2. But you go through all of these steps. How many people are familiar with the accounting cycle? How many people are familiar with the accounting cycle? Kendall is the only one I can see. So,
I'm familiar. Well, a little.
oh, you all are fortunate today. Somebody took my, uh, looking for my Apple keyboard. Because, I do snap those pictures, and there are attendance quizzes and attendance points. So the only people getting points today will be Ebony and Kendall. The rest of y'all just stay on in the dark. Okay, so we're familiar with the accounting cycle, and the other thing I told you is that when we're meeting virtually, you got to have hard copies of these things. You need hard copies. Now, the one thing that I did in teaching when I teach principles to help students make journal entries, I categorize a transaction. There's 6 transactions where cash comes into business. Every time you debit cash and you credit something else. If you issue common stock, you debit cash and credit common stock. That is, you invested in the company that started it. If you have some cash revenue, you debit cash and revenue. So anytime there's a transaction and cash comes in, you borrow money, you debit cash and credit notes payable. You crediting cash. So when you look at the transactions, you first of all determine if cash comes in, then it's got to be one of these 6 transactions. If you pay cash out, there's 5 of them. Every time cash is credited. If you purchase an asset, you debit that particular asset and you credit cash. Asset purchase is not an asset. Was it supplies? Was it insurance? If you pay a liability, you credit in cash. So whenever cash is paid, you come in here and determine if it's a 7 through 11. And you credit in cash, this is what you debit. Then we have a bunch of transactions where cash is not involved. If you purchase an asset utilizing debt, that's a type 12. You debit the asset purchase and you credit the liability created. Recorded appreciation, a sale on account. So when you don't have cash, you got to go in here and find the non-cash. So that's about 21 types of transactions. And so in teaching principles, I just laid out these 21 transactions. When there is a transaction, I ask you to come up with the type. Then that tells you what journal entry to debit and credit. You should have a copy of this, a hard copy. You also should have a hard copy of the chart of accounts. When you make a journal entry, you got to find something with a number beside it. Cash is 100. If you purchase an asset, you got to tell me which one it was. Was it inventory? Was it supplies? Was it land? So when you make the journal entry, you're debiting these particular accounts. The asset accounts, Well, the balance sheet accounts, asset liabilities are on the left. They're on the left. And everything from retained earnings up goes on the balance sheet. These are, so these are your balance sheet accounts from retained earnings and up. Notice it's in red. Dividends and income summary, just temporary accounts. They do not go on the balance sheet. They're on the left side. Balance sheet accounts start from retained earnings up. The expense account, revenue and expense accounts are on the right. All of these accounts go on the income statement. And so whenever you're working, and you're preparing trial balances and etc., you put them in this order. You make sure you keep them in the order. So this is the chart of account. These are the accounts you utilize when you make a journal entry. Are there any questions?
If we don't have a group yet, how do we get assigned to a group?
We're going to talk about that in a few minutes. 6:28. We're trying to wait till everybody get here so we can get the groups set up. But we could only base it on the people who are here. There are 25 or 26 people in the class, but we said that we are going to form groups today, so I'm just giving everybody a chance. Then if you're not in a group, you just have to do the work by yourself and all the work. But probably the
Okay.
next 15 minutes or so, we'll start on groups, okay?
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes, sir. Before you continue, this is our first assignment, correct?
This is an in-class assignment that we're working on.
Yes, sir. And
So
then one more question. I'm sorry to cut you off. Will we need like a Cengage Pearson like login thing or?
yeah, you have to, on the syllabus, you have to contact the person. Sometimes they have the books in the bookstore, sometimes it's Cengage through that. I'm not sure how that works, but you have to, you just go through, contact the rep. It's on the syllabus, and we'll go from there. Now, right now, everything's in Blackboard. So I got everything in Blackboard, just got to make copies of it at this point. So I never want you to get behind. So you got everything you need in Blackboard right now, okay?
Okay, yes, sir.
So that gives you time to go ahead and make your arrangements for the book. You're working in teams. A team can buy at least one book and you have a book to share. So there's various ways to do that, okay?
We're doing our Cengage assignments in teams.
Some of them are teams, some of them are not. Some are teams, some are not. Your first assignment, which is the fraudulent companies, that's sort of a team assignment, but each person has to do something. Then your second assignment, which is a financial review problem, everybody has to do that by themselves. So we'll talk about that in a few minutes. But once again, I put it, in my message to the class, I tell you, you need hard copies of this material. It's just difficult to follow it on the screen, and you need a computer with Excel. This is the problem that we were reviewing. This is the problem where you're supposed to be here today with a trial balance. So that's one thing. You're supposed to be here with a trial balance. You got your trial balance, Ms. Ebony?
I do.
Okay. Let's just see if I can. Now, I actually put this spreadsheet in course content for you, and we made these journal entries last time, and I'm gonna go back through them. But we work in Excel, and there's sheets. There's journal entries, there's T accounts, there's a trial balance, and we typically do the closing entries on the trial balance. So it's just these first three sheets I'm concerned about. Okay. So let's look at a journal entry. And in any business, they make, whenever a financial transaction occurs, we make a journal entry. So the first journal entry we typically have, we start the company by putting money in it and getting stock back for the money we put in. So we go to our journal entries and we make this first journal entry. We debit cash and credit common stock. This is journal entry 1. This is type 1, where the account numbers 100 for cash, 400 for common stock, 10,000, 10,000. Are there any questions on this first journal entry by anyone?
Where does the 10,000 come from?
Right here. These are your transactions. So all of these transactions, you sort of given the dollar amounts. You see that here?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anybody else with any questions, just speak up because I've got my screen covered, so I can't see you right now. Does everybody see transaction 1, where we debited cash and credited common stock?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Then we posted it to the ledger. When you post something to the ledger, the goal is we got all these transactions, how much cash we got, how much common stock we got, and how much is in each account. So we post to the ledger. If it's a debit in the journal entry, it's a debit in the T account, and vice versa. If it's a credit, it's a credit. And so when we go to the T accounts, there's an account for every item. And on this first one, it's $10,000, and we put this little 1 here on the debit side. And the 1 is here indicate this is journal entry 1. Okay. Our credit was over here. The common stock. And we got that 1 indicating that's the journal entry. Any question on posting this journal entry? Okay. Then let's go back now to the second journal entry. And that journal entry involved cash received for car rental revenue. That's journal entry type 2. And a type 2, we debit cash and credit sales. The account numbers are 100 and 500. So we debit cash 50,000 and we credit sales 50,000. Then we posted that. Came to the T accounts. Cash was debited 50,000. That's journal entry number 2. Sales was credited 50,000. That's journal entry number 2. Are there any questions on anything you just seen? Can everybody do that?
Yes.
So Kendall is speaking for everybody. She says all you all can do it. Okay. Now, how many people have all their journal entries made today? How many people have their journal entries made? How many people plan on passing the course?
I don't have my
Yes,
journal
sir.
entries done. I thought it was a part of the first assignment that was due.
Say
On
that
Wednesday.
again, Kendall.
I said I don't have my journal entries done. I thought it was a part of the first assignment that was due Wednesday.
Yeah, and I only did the parts that we did in class because I thought you said it was like something we work on together in class.
Don't want to work on it together today. All right. What about everybody else? Okay. We'll work on that. Let me see if I can pull up two things, then we'll come back to this problem. Let's see, virtual. Okay, so here are the teams, and I had 5 teams set up with a team leader and a co-lead, and then team leaders and individuals were to get together so we could get everybody else on the team. So that was what was supposed to happen. But we said today we make the teams based on who's here. Okay,
I got my team together. I got like a full 5.
who's that? Who's speaking?
Aisha, for group 3.
Okay, so you got your team together. What about group 1? Tanja and Ebony, do you all have your team together?
I know Taj is there, but no, we do not. So the last person that was speaking, can you put in the group me, your group, so we know who's like already
Yeah, I got
speaking?
you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so let's spend the next 5 minutes, and you all are doing this, getting the teams done. You know, this is of course is in Blackboard. Uh, the teams 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 with a team leader and a co-lead. The idea is to have someone, who performed well in Principles 1, had a good grade point average, and a secondary person so that all the teams would have, strong leadership, and everybody then could, work in that team and get the things done, but they wouldn't be alone. So I'm going to give you all 5 minutes with everybody here to get the teams done. Okay? 5
And
minutes.
since there's only 15 in the class and there's already 5 taken, can we just do
3 groups? Because there's
Can you
5
do
groups.
what now?
Can we do 3 groups?
so there's 15 people in here now and there's already 5 taken, so can we do 3 teams of 5?
That's fine, except for someone who has a team, the person's not here. But anyway, that'll work out. But that's fine with me. However you all want to do it. But you all got 5 minutes, so that's be enough time to get a team formed, right?
Right.
So take 5 minutes and get 3 teams formed.
Since group 3 has their team, do you want us to tell you our group, or do we just keep that to ourselves?
Hey, if you're part of group 3, can y'all check your messages in Blackboard? I sent you the link to like our separate like group chat, and then or you can just send me your phone number and I'll make a iMessage group chat.
I just
I'm
saw
gonna
my
just send you my
number.
iMessage because I'm driving right now, so I won't be able to access the Blackboard message until tomorrow.
Okay, that's fine. Just whenever you get a chance.
Yeah, my computer messed up. I think I sent you my number through GroupMe.
We have our teams formed. Oh, do we have 3 teams? 4.
No, we're not ready.
What? Can't hear you.
Group 3 has our team together. Do we need to submit like our names to you, or does that matter?
Yeah, team leader should email that to me.
Will do.
Okay.
So each team leader email me. So based on this, you can see who wants to be the lead. If there's some crossover and everything, but get those to me. I guess tomorrow or the next day. Now let's look at this assignment, and I'm assuming we have 3 teams. Team 1, you have Ponzi scheme and the Madoff investment scandal. These are suggested slides. Everybody on your team's got to do at least one slide. These are the things you're covering. So you're trying to cover all of this. Ponzi scheme and the Madoff investment scandal. And these are important points as we move on. We get financial statements prepared. You got to be able to analyze them. So you're looking at some of the issues. Team 2, you have cryptocurrency and cryptocurrency Ponzi schemes. Very relevant thing. So these are the slides you'll be preparing for next time. Team 3, you got FTX and FTX crypto fraud. These are the suggested slides. Remember, we're presenting next time. Everybody has to be here, and everybody has to have a slide that they prepared, and they got to present that slide with their camera on. Are we clear on that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And
Yes.
okay, so that's an easy assignment because you're just looking something up. That's assignment 1. Now, in assignment 2, if I
Is the group I'm in, are we group 4?
I thought you all going to just go with 3 groups, but it's up to you all.
Oh no, but I mean like for the assignment you have different ones. So do we just pick one or
All right. Group 1, whoever's in that group is doing those first 2 things. Group 2 got the next 2. Group 3 got the next 2. If you're
okay.
in a different group higher than that, the assignments were there. Let me just. So I'm not sure. Okay.
And for like the sections that we each have to do, that right there that you just pulled up, that's on Blackboard, correct? Or do we have to screenshot it now?
So this is in Blackboard. Everything's in Blackboard. Okay. So Team 1 has got to cover these first 2 boxes. Team 2 is covering the next 2 boxes. Team 3 is covering the next 2 boxes. And if there's a team 4, they go in the next set of boxes. Got it? So it's up to you all. You want 3 teams, you want 4 teams, that's fine. Whatever you want, just send it to me. Like I say, everybody had ample time to be here. Let's see if we can find your next assignment. Your second assignment, this is an assignment. There are 5 financial review problems. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You got 5 people on your team. Team leader assigns the review problems to the people on the team, with the team leader and co-lead doing 5 and 4. Those are a little more challenging. 1, 2, and 3 are not as challenging. That's your second assignment. Now, that's a
Real quick.
10-point assignment, and help your teams out, help your team out down the road. If somebody on your team don't turn in the assignment, everybody on the team lose a point. If somebody on your team does not do the assignment, if 2 people don't turn it in, then that team loses 2 points. So you got to learn now and early that you got to do your work. Each individual got to do the work, and it's better to have these little hurts now than down the road when the teamwork becomes much more intense. Okay? So everybody on the team. So team leader, you check with your person now, and of course you can put people off the team now through the first exam. So if somebody's on the team, they won't do what they're supposed to do, then you can eliminate them.
So this is our team for the whole semester.
Can't hear you. Talk a little louder.
So this is our team for the whole semester.
Correct. There's some team assignments, some individual assignments. But if a team member is not doing what they should, then you got up until the first exam to eliminate them from the team. After that, you got to keep them. So you have enough assignments so you can see whether the people doing the work. You're off the team,
Whenever
you got to do everything by yourself.
I
Yes,
had clicked the financial reviews, they all look like they were the same thing. So how are you supposed to like split that up if they're the same?
the financial review problems.
Yeah, because like all of them have the exact same format, the exact same tables, the exact same questions, but
I
how
thought
is
there were
it?
different questions. I'll look at that. Is everybody else seeing that as the same one? I thought it was 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and there were different journal entries on each one. But you just assign them 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I'll look at that and see if there's an issue. That assignment is not due, I think, right away. So all we got to do is get, for Wednesday, we need to get the cash flow. I meant the fraudulent companies presentations ready. I'll review it, and if that's an issue, then I'll correct it. But your thing is you just, assign people one problem, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And if I need to switch them out, fine. But your thing, you just get them signed 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay?
Okay.
Evan, have you looked at them?
I haven't.
Well, I'll look at them later. You know, uh, just see, but I think they're supposed to be different. So, are we all clear? Is everybody in here on a team?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep. Yes, sir.
Everybody on a team. Is everybody gonna do what they're supposed to do on the team? That's the key thing.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, let's go back to our in-class problem that we were looking at. And on the in-class problem, there were 10 journal entries. And what you're supposed to do is prepare the journal entries, do the trial balance, uh, and then these statements. So what we're going to try to do today, I think, is go back through the journal entries and get them prepared and post it to the ledger and do a trial balance. Try to get that for today. And then on next class period, after the presentations, we'll try to finish the problem up, okay? Now,
Okay.
let's go back to the journal entries. And you're supposed to make these journal entries. That's the toughest thing. So let's get the rest of these journal entries made. And let's just see. So we got journal entries 1 and 2 made. Are there any questions? Okay. So let's get the rest of these journal entries made. And we're going to report back in a few minutes on these journal entries. We have 10 journal entries. Ray, you got the first one. Those are just review. Grimes, you got the second one. Chloe has the third one. Albert has the next one. Then we have Bethany. Russell. Okay, so everybody has 5 minutes to get their journal entry made, and then we're going to go over those journal entries. Now, the process in making journal entries. First thing you're going to do is determine whether cash came in or cash went out, or it's another one of these journal entries. Typically, I got these journal entries bold, these bold ones. Typically, your journal entry is going to fall in these categories: 1, 2, 3, or 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, or 15. So those are going to be the journal entries typically you're going to have. The journal entry tell you what you got to debit and credit. Then you're going to go to the chart of accounts and get me some accounts over here with numbers and make your journal entry where you debit and you credit something. Any questions?
Professor, you assigned me to number 2. I don't have access to it right now because I'm currently on my way to the school from California.
Okay. Uh, we'll let Kendall back you up on that. Can you back him up, Kendall?
Appreciate that. I'll for sure be able to do them Wednesday, and then on.
Okay.
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Grimes can't do it, so you got an easy one.
Is this for the group assignment? Cause we already have my group picked out.
No, this is the in-class problem that we're working on.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
And the only thing that we're doing now is I want you all to make these journal entries.
Okay.
So you can't watch me make them and learn how to do them. So you got 5 minutes to get your journal entry made, and then we're going to make these journal entries. Everybody clear on what we're doing?
Yes, sir. But when we first were going over the entries before we started talking about something else, you said something was cash. Cash was credited for 100 and common stock for 400 was debited. Where did we get those numbers from? The 100 and the 400?
Chart of accounts. Just like you got a bank account with a number, well, each of our accounts have a number. And of course, all of this is in your accounting cycle review, which you should have made a copy of, but it's all in Blackboard. The journal entry types, basically working with the ones that are bold, and the chart of accounts, which has the accounts. So everybody see it now, what you're doing with that one journal entry you make it.
Can you go back to the journal entries that are assigned to us?
Okay.
Thank you.
So Terry, Kendall's gonna substitute for Grimes. Chloe, Abby, Bethany, Russell, Bouquet, Kyla, Aisha, and Ebony. So I want you to make a journal entry, to make a debit and a credit, so we see where we are. You know, I can't see where you are if I make them, but I can see where you are, what we need to do if you're making them. And remember, this is a review of Principles 1. Okay, Teray, are we ready?
Yes, sir.
All right, so what's the first journal entry?
You're going to credit cash for $100, debit common stock for $400, credit 10,000 and debit 10,000.
All right. What happened? We started our business and we invested $10,000, correct?
Yes, sir.
So our type was what?
Our tight?
Journal
What
entry
do you?
was a 1.
Yeah, it's journal entry number
Now
1.
we're going to debit what? Cash?
Cash for $100.
We won't say that. So
So
cash is
cash.
100.
Sorry. Yeah.
And we're going to credit common stock because we're starting our business.
Yeah. And for the chart of accounts that you mentioned earlier with these numbers on it, what is that listed underneath on Blackboard?
That each account has a number. That
Right.
is, we aren't going to be using names when, a computer's going to use a number. So I
Hmm.
told you to go to the chart of accounts and what's
Right.
the account number for cash?
But that's where I'm lost at. I didn't know how to get there through Blackboard. I saw accounting theoretical framework, accounting cycle, financial review problem, Excel template,
Here,
and then
here are the accounts. It's all in there. You just have to keep reading.
mhm.
We know it's cash and common stock. The
Right.
number for cash is 100.
Hmm.
The number for common stock is
Or
500.
500. Okay.
Well, excuse me, 400, isn't it?
400.
Yeah.
And this page you
And
have pulled up, that's what I was.
this is just like your bank account number.
Hmm.
So when you make a deposit, you put in your bank account number. Then you put in the amount of cash,
Hmm.
and that cash was $10,000. Okay. But do
Right.
you see this now?
Yeah. Yes, sir. I see it. I was just trying to figure out how to access it like on my own without it being pulled up right here.
Okay. You got to make copies of this. I said this, when I, uh, gave you the information in the course. If you virtual, you definitely need hard copies.
Right. Yes, sir. And I was trying to figure out where to go to get the hard copy from.
But they're right there in the accounting cycle review.
Okay,
This
that's
is
what I
in
was looking
there.
for. Okay, accounting cycle review. Yes, sir.
Accounting cycle review, all is there. All right, who's next? Kendall. You ready, Kendall?
Yes, give me 1 second.
So you have journal entry number 2. What's our type?
Um, 1 second. I'm trying to pull it back up.
All right, I'll flip it for you. Cash revenue came into the business as a type 2. What do we debit in a type 2? What did it say we
Cash.
debit? What do we credit? And we're just going to use sales. It can be revenue, fees, or sales. We typically just going to use sales, okay?
Okay.
So you're going to debit cash and credit sales.
Okay, so that'll be 100 cash and 500 sales.
That's correct. 100 for cash, 500 for sales. And how much what's the dollar amount?
Oh, can you go back to the question? Sorry.
What's the money? 50,000, right?
50,000, yeah.
It's hard to do the financial statements, if you don't, can't make the journal entry. That's the starting point. Okay. Chloe, you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, so this is type 2. So you're on number 3. What's our type?
Type 3.
That's type 3. What we gonna debit?
Cash for 20,000.
Okay.
And it's account number 100.
Account number 100, 20,000. What are we gonna credit?
20,000 accounts receivable, and the account number is 110.
So I'll just put account receivable. We're gonna credit it for 20,000. We typically are going to indent the bottom account, the account that we credited, as you're seeing. Let me just send it to you. Okay. Receipt of a short-term loan, Albert. So now we on transaction 4.
All right. Debit cash
Debit
and
cash,
credit short-term notes payable
credit the short-term note.
for
What's our account
25,000,
number for cash?
100.
Short-term note,
It would be 350, right?
well, we'll put 350 now. Sometime if you got the right note, that's fine. What's my type?
Um, it would be, would that be type 8?
Uh, when you debit cash, you got to be here 1 through
Oh, that's
6.
a type 5.
And how much did we borrow?
25,000.
25,000. Okay. Next, we have Bethany. What do we have here, Bethany?
This is my first day in class, so I'm really trying to figure out like what we doing. But I know the number for supplies, I guess.
But what this is problem number 5, right? Journal entry 5. So we buying supplies, so it's got to be a debit to what?
To cash?
No.
No.
See, at this point, in terms of journal entry types, we starting to pay stuff out. So we're gonna credit cash.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We purchased an asset. It was the supplies.
Mm-hmm.
What's our account number for supplies?
Uh,
130.
130.
Okay. And the amount was $1,000, correct?
Yes.
And what's our type?
Um, is it 7 or 6? I don't- What do you mean by type?
When we make journal entries, if cash comes in, it's 1 through 6. And of course, this is cash going out, so it's 7 through 11. So
7?
it was a 7. Your first number was right.
Okay.
Okay, let's move it right along. Russell, how we coming, Miss Russell? Oh, your hand is up. So your mic is not working, is that right? So I think she may have. Sheffield, why don't you help us with this one?
Okay, can you pull up the sheet because I don't have it.
Okay, here you are here. This is the problem. Number 6. So we
Okay,
know we're
I don't have it.
paying something, so it's got to be what? It's got to be 7 through
No, we
11.
paying on the accounts payable. Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be a type 8 where we're
Oh.
going to debit the liability paid and credit cash. Well, it's an
Mm-hmm.
account payable, so that account
Type
number is
8,
what? 301.
301.
Okay, so let's do back
8.
Okay, and so we're going to debit account payable.
Debit accounts payable. Yes, sir.
That's
Okay.
301. We're going to credit what?
Cash for 5,100.
Okay, move it on to paid rent. Bouquet. That's a bouquet. Okay, bouquet is. So who's going to answer this? This is number 7. What's our type? What is our type? We paid something.
Type 9.
So what's our type?
9.
That's a type 9 because we paid an expense. What expense did we pay? Rent. And of course, we're gonna credit what?
Cash for 3,000.
What's the account number for rent?
651.
Okay, let's see if we can finish these because I want you to get these posted and have a trial balance for me next time. Y'all kind of got here late, few people on time, but in general, we just may have to run over. Uh, it'll be your office hours. Number 8, we paid dividend. What's our type?
10.
Type in.
What we gonna debit?
We're gonna.
Dividends.
Oh, never mind.
And 455 is the account number.
You gonna credit what? Cash.
Cash.
Cash. 100.
That was what, $2,000. We got 2 more to go. What's our next one?
Credit cash.
Aisha.
This number 9, right?
Correct.
So it's type 12. You hold on. You debit accounts payable and you credit supplies for 8,000, and then the account number.
Let's look at what it says on a type 12. It says you debit the asset purchase, credit the liability created. So it's just the opposite. You got to debit supplies. That's what you got. That's what's the value. And you got the credit accounts payable. Supplies we said before was what, 130. Accounts payable is 301. And the amount was how much?
8,000.
8,000. Okay.
Wait, so what was the? Oh, okay, never mind.
So follow the chart. Okay. What's our final one? Ebony?
It's a sales on the account, so it's type 15.
Type 15. What do we debit in a 15?
Accounts receivable
So we're going to debit account receivable.
for 30,000, and the account number is 110. And we're gonna credit sales,
Credit sales.
account 500 for the amount of 30,000.
Any questions? Okay, so for next class period, Well, the trial balance is done. So you got to post everything. You saw those first few postings and then do the trial balance. So teams, get your team leaders, co-leaders, get your team together and make sure on Wednesday everybody has trial balance. Can we do that, team leaders?
Are we getting graded for this?
Of
Do we get
course.
points? Do we get points for attendance?
We'll work it out. I won't be as, if I'd said it, I would have been given points today, but it won't be fair. So everybody can have a chance. But next, yeah, we'll be getting points on Thursday. Okay.
Okay.
So we'll
Yes,
begin to award points. And you got to get here on time. But we're going to finish when we get through because that'll just be your office hours. But you got to have copies of everything made. You got to get here on time. If you don't get here on time, we'll just have to stay over so we can get the work completed. Because now you got a problem that's due on this, I guess, in about a week or so. We'll see. We'll see what we are next time. So hopefully you see why your fraudulent company report is an easy assignment. So you don't have to have a particular right or wrong answer on that. You got to look up the information and present it. So that's what we'll do at the beginning of the period. At the end of the period, we're going to work this problem all the way through, and we'll stay here until we get it worked. Because on this problem, we got the journal entries done. You got to post all of them to the ledger. You got to do a trial balance. We got to get an income statement, statement retained earnings, and a balance sheet, and prepare the closing entry. We got to get all of that done. So what will help will be if you all team leaders, you get together with your team and you all work on this and have it, done, explained and everything as much as possible. Don't do the work for the people, but just help them out because they got to eventually do it themselves. And then you will have a problem a little bit more challenging than this, where you got to repeat this because we're going to layer managerial accounting on top of this, okay? Any questions?
Yes, so the assignment that's due next Monday, on the 29th, is that just the journal entries or is it everything to the past?
Everything. It's always everything. So it's all of these things, all the way through. You don't have to do the cash flow statement. You got to do everything else. Okay?
Okay.
So we'll finish this review problem next time so you know what you got to do after the presentations. And then you have your individual problem that you've got to work. So team leaders, you should get those individual problems assigned right away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Send me tomorrow, the teams, leader, co-lead, and members, and we'll go from there. Any other questions?
Yes, so after we leave the call, we'll be doing the trial balance and we'll be doing it with our teams.
Yes, that's the way to do it. If you don't know how to do a trial balance, we're gonna do it next time. It's best if you come to class having worked on it and we review it, as opposed to coming to class and trying to watch it being worked.
Okay, and also I thought we will be so for the trial balance we'll be using this example or we will have to use another example.
Well, we're working with this problem, so see if I can find it. That's my Excel sheet. Okay, so this is the Excel sheet, and you actually have this sheet in here already prepared like this. I sent it to you. So the Excel sheet is already there with these journal entries that we went over. You got to post to the T account. If it was a debit in the journal entry, it's a debit in the T account. You got to get all of those posted. Then you got to put your balances in here. So let's look at an example how we get balances. What we want to know is how much cash we have. So let's assume that we had a debit to cash, a credit to cash along the way of $5,000. Just assuming, and let's assume we had another credit of $15,000. Our debits to the account were $60,000. Our credits to the account were $20,000. We put $60,000 in the bank and spent $20,000, so the balance is $40,000. The balance always goes on the side of the logic. 60 spent, 60 came in, 20 spent, 40. And for every account, once we do that, we bring it to the trial balance. So in this last case, then the cash would be what, 40,000. Yeah, 40,000. Now on that trial balance is in the same order as that chart of accounts. Cash receivables, common stock to retained earnings. These are permanent accounts. Then dividends and sales are temporary accounts, and they're here. You put the accounts in the order that they are on that chart of accounts, not in the order of when you made the journal entries. The trial balance has to be just like this. Cash first, receivables, blah, blah, blah. That's how it looks. And of course, we're going to go over that all next time, but it would be helpful if you got with your team and tried to get to that point for next time. There should be somebody on each team who knows how to do a trial balance. Right, Ebony? Right, Chloe? Right, Sheffield? They all know how to do trial balances.
And you said like for the financial review problems that you were gonna like fix it so it splits up what question who has what? Because they were all the same.
Wait a minute. The financial review problem, the one that we're doing now, this in-class problem.
No, not this one, but the other one, the one that like one person does problem one, the other person does problem two, and then the leads and co-leads do 5 and 4.
Okay. So what are you asking about that? You're saying they still look the same?
Yeah, like they're all the exact same like
I'll go
format.
through and correct that.
Okay.
I'll correct that tonight. Any other questions?
I have a question.
Okay.
For the presentations on Wednesday, how long does each one need to be?
Not long. 5 to 10 minutes, not long. But you want to, it's very important material.
I have a
Gotcha.
question. For the financial review problem, uh, how do we turn it in if there are 5 different links? Or will it be a different link for each question that we're assigned?
Well, there are 5 problems. You're just doing one and turn it in. You're doing your one and turn it in.
Okay.
You get the one the team leader assigned you, you complete it and turn it in.
I'm confused because you said don't do anybody else's work, but then you said we'll be penalized if they don't do their work. So,
Yeah, and there are 11 questions on the assignment.
There's more than
Like, do
11 on some of them. What? Okay, it's best to see now who's going to work, take that little point penalty, because the penalty is going to be much higher later. Okay? And so it's best to know early. If the person don't do it, then you know you need to put them off your team.
okay, and if we don't have a replacement, then that means more work for us. Which,
No, if you only have 4 people, then you just do 4, Ebony.
okay, just needed clarification.
Okay.
And then anyone
They
who gets put out the group, they have to do all the work by themselves.
all work by themselves.
Okay.
And typically,
okay. I have one more question.
okay.
So with each link, since there are 5, so each one like group member is doing it from the journal entry to the closing entry, or is it all one assignment?
Each team member is doing it all the way through.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So that's why we're doing this example all the way through. Then each team member does a problem all the way through. Any other questions?
No, sir, I got it.
Okay, so be here on time, because once we start presenting, and if we presenting, we get to your team, you're not here, you don't present, you don't get any points. So you got to be here on time next time, and then we got to finish this problem up so you have a guide on your homework problem. So so make sure you're on time. We'll finish that. If you do the work, you're gonna be okay. If you do the work and you got a team to help you, you'll be okay. So let's make sure we do the work. So everyone have a pleasant evening, stay dry, and we'll see everybody on Wednesday on time. Okay?
Okay, see you Wednesday.
All right, bye.